This is the High School Football America podcast for September the 4th, 2024. I'm Jeff Fisher. The High School Football America podcast is brought to you by First Place Spiritwear, the official outfitter of High School Football America and the podcast. First Place Spiritwear. If you haven't listened over the last several months, man, you don't know how they are reinventing fan gear, how coaches, schools, the fans, the players, the cheerleaders, the booster clubs are getting their spirit wear or fan gear, whatever you call it. They have an up and running store right now on their website at firstplacespiritwear.com, and it will come to life if you contact them and get your logo in there. But I'm telling you, this looks like a Fanatics website. If you're not familiar with Fanatics, well, they're doing a lot for the NFL and for college football. And First Place Spiritwear, the owners, Mike and Connie Meadows, they brought on board one of the top Fanatics designers, and he is now putting together some incredible gear for the fans to purchase at the high school level. Yes, you get that pro and college feel at the high school level. And there's some other great stuff that goes along with this. It's hassle-free, so coaches, if you're in charge of getting all this fan gear and all that, you will be able to do what you do best, which is coach, because they're going to take everything out of your hands. It's online, 100%, open 24/7, 365. There's no ordering windows. If you know about BSN Fan Cloth and you've been working with them for a while, hey, First Place Spiritwear said, get out of here, ordering windows, and you don't have to collect money and manage inventory. You're not going to have T-shirts and hoodies laying around in your coaching office or in your garage or in the dining room and your wife is complaining at you. Now, that's all gone too, because they take that away from you. You just order online. They give you marketing material that you can send out. It's just like everything is there, graphics, the text, and you just put it in your email list and just hit send and let them do the rest of the work for you. It's fantastic. It's a good way to raise money too, because 10% of all sales for First Place Spiritwear go right into your fundraising budget. You can't beat that. And during the off season, they have pop-up sales with cool stuff too that will allow you to earn up to 50%. You will not be disappointed. I've turned so many coaches over to Mike, who's the president and CEO, where they've met with him personally and done deals with him. And when I say deals, all that means is they've decided, yes, we're going to use them. We're going to give them our logo, and we're just going to go to work and see how it all works out, because there is no money being exchanged there for that. They're just a great supporter of high school football. So I talked about the fundraising, and now how about this? You know, in a day and age when the economy is a little wonky out there, all players, coaches, staff, and family, they get $10 gift codes, $10 off, and they carry all the name brands like Nike, Adidas, and Champion. I talked about the ordering windows gone. The order shipped directly to the person buying it within days to their home or whatever address they put in there. Folks, you will not go wrong. I will not steer you wrong. For years, we've had various garment companies trying to get us in the fold. I kicked a lot of tires. It just didn't work. There's a lot of pretenders out there, but First Place Spiritwear is A+++. Stake my reputation on it. So what you need to do is you can go to them, firstplacespiritwear.com, the number one, stplacespiritwear.com, or do it the easy way when you're on High School Football America at highschoolfootballamerica.com. Just click on the First Spirit banner ad that's located on every page of the website. Or you can even email me or direct message me on social media, and I'm more than happy to put you into direct contact with Mike Meadows, the president and CEO. Hey, their customer service, A+++. That's the reason we went with them. These people do what they say they're going to do. They just over-deliver on every promise. So make sure you check out First Place Spiritwear at firstplacespiritwear.com. And we're brought to you tonight by GameStrat, the premier sideline instant replay system with outstanding reliability and faster speed than Huddle's sideline. They've been with us at GameStrat for the last 5 years, and hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of coaches have made the switch, and they are not disappointed at all. The video transfers instantly in GameStrat. The connection is strong throughout the game. They've got, seamless video controls, video telestration, and play filtering. The setup is so easy, about 10 minutes. They have awesome customer service as well. And it's just something that is so important to me and to Trish Hoffman in running our business. We only deal with the creme de la creme, and GameStrat and First Place Spiritwear are the creme de la creme. You mention High School Football America to GameStrat when you're getting your demo. They'll give you a friends and family discount. And now to get that demo, go to GameStrat.com, or you can click on the GameStrat banner ad located on every page of HighSchoolFootballAmerica.com. All right, folks, it's time to talk a little rankings. And we're going to be talking with MaxPreps. The guy behind the top 25 for Max, Zack Poff, is on the line. I said to him before I started rolling tape here that it's been a while. Steve Spiewak, good friend of mine, and I found out a good friend of Zach's to this day. It was probably the last one on back in 2015. I apologize for the 9-year gap, Zach, but good to have you on. Thanks for joining me today.
Yeah, man. I'm glad we're finally reconnected, man. Spiewak, as you said, he was the man. He did a great job when he did rankings here before I started doing it before the 2016 season. And, we've done shows before with Joe and National High School Football. So definitely it's good to finally do one-on-one, though.
Yep, we'll get it done, and we appreciate, as I've always said on Twitter and the various social media platforms, we appreciate Max having us in the composite rankings. Love what you do. You told me beforehand that 16 was your first year. That was a Bishop Gorman year. That was Bishop Gorman for us as well. But before we get right into this year's rankings, I just want to start with what a great start, right? I thought last year was the best first 2 or 3 weeks of games ever, and I think we're crushing it this year. What's your kind of overall 30,000-foot view of the first 3 weeks of this awesome season?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I mean, this is everything you want as, obviously we're doing rankings, but just as a high school football fan, you want to see these upsets, I don't think a lot of people had Corner Canyon beating IMG on their bingo card, but then I don't even think, no one thought Lone Peak was going to beat them. So, I mean, that just kind of shows you how crazy the start of this year's been. And, those ESPN games to start in the Broward County Showcase down in South Florida, what great games those were. Milton American Heritage on Friday night, and then the 2 on Saturday with Bishop Gorman coming back to beat Aquinas, and then St. John Bosco edging out Shaman on Madonna. So, yeah, been a tremendous year. And I tell you what, the slate of games we got coming up this week might be the best slate of games we see all season. We're going to get Bishop Gorman, Mater Dei, Cocoa IMG Academy, St. Francis Academy at Orange Lutheran, Massillon, and Bergen Catholic. The list goes on and on. This is going to be a fun weekend of games.
Isn't it? I keep joking to people and folks in SoCal, all the people that love us or hate us at Mater Dei and St. John Bosco, I keep saying that maybe all the ranking services can take off. After this weekend's done, and then we sit back until the end of October. I'm teasing about that, but I mean, literally, the national championship chat has come into focus over these last 3 weeks, or at the end of this time, the last 3 weeks. Zack Poff is on the line. He's the guy behind MaxPreps' rankings, the top 25. They expanded it to 100, and let's kind of dive into your background before, again, we get into the rankings. Mention Steve, love Steve. We always joked about how thick your skin had to be to put these out. What was it like for you to take over from a guy that did it for so long and then realize that, if you have 15,000 schools, 14,999 don't agree with wherever you put the teams when you put out your rankings? How'd that work out for you?
The first thing I learned on the job is don't be sensitive, because if you're sensitive what people are saying, you're going to be stressed out. So you can't worry about what other people are saying. As long as you put in the work and put in the effort and put in the research and, you work as hard as you can, you put in the hours, then it doesn't really matter what other people are saying, because at the end of the day, if you do the work, it's going to show. And, yeah, Spiewak, it was nice. The first couple, I got hired at MaxPreps in 2013. It was nice to kind of sit back and see how things worked. And Spiewak did it from 2013, even before that, obviously. But when I started working there to 2015, and then he left, and then I took over doing it in 2016. But, yeah, it's a tough job for sure. As you mentioned, there's so many high schools across the country. You want to get things right. There's probably nothing harder to do than preseason rankings, because you really don't know everything going into the year. But as the season goes, usually stuff plays out. And as you mentioned, man, Mater Dei and St. John Bosco, we got a story coming out tomorrow of the previous number 1 versus number 2 matchup since 2000, because, Mater Dei Gorman are 1 and 2 in a lot of polls. The last 5 meetings between number 1 and number 2 has been Mater Dei versus St. John Bosco. So those are, they've been the 2 elite programs here the last 5-6 years for sure.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. And amen on preseason rankings. I don't even know if I told you this when I was on the interview with you with Joe Maimone. I guess it was last year, but I hate preseason rankings. As a matter of fact, I started out in this business when we started doing rankings in 2012, not doing them because I hated them so much because they never made any sense. And the first year, and I can't remember, first year was opinion, so it was either 12 or 13. I literally waited 3 weeks into the season before I released the first ranking. So,
hey, I get it, man. You're playing it safe. You want to hide behind this and that, but you got to have fun, man. The thing that I love doing about rankings, especially preseason, is the fans interact. People, that's their opportunity to say, hey, you're an idiot for ranking them here. And then sometimes, they end up looking like the idiot at the end of the day, but you can't really say anything. But no, I mean, it's fun at the end of the day. Like, obviously, we want to get it right. We put in the work, but it's just nice to see how far high school football has expanded on the national level and how popular it's getting year in and year out. And I still haven't even think we've come close to reaching the ceiling of how popular high school football is going to be. We've seen it just expand tremendously over the last 5 years.
Yeah, I agree. And one of the things that I always like to do when you talk about the thick skin is now with the algorithm since 13, I'm just like, hey, the computer says this. It's not me. Yeah, it's not my opinion. So that's how I avoid all that hardship.
Yeah. I respect it, man. See, I don't do that. It's all opinion-based for me. So it's like, I was wrong. But I see, when I was younger, man, I kind of would not like to admit when I was wrong. Now it's, a little older now. It's, when I'm wrong, I'll say, hey, I was wrong. I shouldn't have ranked these guys this high. But, hey, everything always works itself out. So,
dude, I've seen your face. You're not old. As I said, you're talking to a 64-year-old man here. So don't give me, when I was younger.
Hey, 54 years young, man.
Anyway, we're having fun tonight with Zack Poff here on the High School Football America podcast, the man behind the MaxPreps Super 20. Is it still the Excellent 25? I always say top 25, but is it still the Excellent 25?
We kicked the Excellent 25. Now it's just strictly MaxPreps top 25. Okay. We probably did that within the last 4 years. So, yeah, it's just, people still call them the Excellent 25. That's what it used to be way back in the day. But, yeah, now we just go, keep it simple, man. MaxPreps top 25.
So let's talk about, and again, I think people like to see how the sausage is made or hear about how the sausage is made. Ours is simple, right? Yeah. The algorithm analyzes what happens on the field. There's a formula there with all this criteria. So how do you, so you get your preseason, you've already set that. Now what happens in your brain as the finals come in? How do you get to the point where you release your, first in season, then week 2, week 3? How does that work?
Yeah, well, the preseason's tough. Like, I'll be doing research from April all the way till we'll release them in June or July. So, it's pretty easy what we're doing. You look at how they did the year prior, who they're bringing back, same coach, different coach, a lot of different factors. So, and as the season goes, it gets easier, obviously, because you see these teams playing, which now it's nice. You get a lot of big out-of-state matchups early in the season where you didn't used to get that prior. So, it's easier once the season starts because, the teams are doing the job for me. So, luckily for us, it worked out. Bishop Gorman came back to beat Aquinas in Mater Dei, won pretty easily against Corona Centennial, where we're going to get this number 1 versus number 2 matchup. So we'll see how it plays out on Friday night. But you just see it, man. There's just big-time games throughout, especially early part of the season, where it makes my job, your job, everyone's job easier because these top teams are playing each other. And I got to give a shout out to Joe Mamone for Prep Gridiron Logistics. He does a tremendous job of setting up national games where it helps our jobs, when it comes to ranking these teams because they actually play head to head.
Yeah, no doubt about it. He's done a wonderful job. He's been doing it since 15 or 16. Good friend of ours, good friend of yours, of course. He does a wonderful job, and I'm sure when he's listening to this, he'll have a big old smile on his face and go, they're my boys. Something like that. Yeah, right? Zack Poff is on the line. MaxPrep MaxPreps Top 25, and let's dig into it right now. You're looking pretty smart, right? We had Mater Dei number 1, so I think we're still looking pretty smart, but it's all going to be determined tonight. So how are you feeling, since we're talking about the preseason rankings, how are you feeling about where you started and where you are right now? Because you got 1 and 2. We have it a little different, but we both have 1 and 2. I'm smiling. How about you?
Yeah, no, we're right there with you too. Like Mater Dei is number 1 for us, and then we got Gorman at 2, and it's just great when we don't have to hypothetically imagine what would happen. It's going to actually happen on the field. So these guys are going to answer the bell, and we'll see what happens. I look at this game, man. This is an even matchup. There's a lot of similarities with these teams. They're both great offensive lines, good defensive lines. I mean, they're good everywhere. So we came out with an article earlier this week. There's 38 players in this game that are rated as a 3-star recruit or higher on 24/7 Sports, and there's another 19 that have an FBS offer. So 57 players in this game have at least one FBS offer. But yeah, we'll see how it plays out. A team like Chaminade Madonna was in the top 15 for us, and they're 0-2. I figured they would lose to Bosco, and then I didn't see them lose to Blanche Eli the following week. So
me neither.
you just never know, man. That's why it's great. Like this, you get these opportunities to play, and that's why I've always wondered why teams are scared to schedule IMG Academy, because look at what that win did for Corner Canyon and the community. That was like those kids' Super Bowl. They just beat IMG Academy, a team that gets looked at as, recruiting nationally. They're, not playing fair in a lot of people's eyes. I don't look at it that way. I think it's sometimes you look at a team like Corner Canyon when it comes to team chemistry. You've had these guys playing together for 4 or 5 years, even before high school, where I feel like you get an edge doing that compared to a group of guys that have come together in their first year playing together.
Yeah, no doubt. Speaking of IMG, and a great IMG, private versus public coming up with IMG Cocoa, which you mentioned earlier. They're 14-15 in our poll with IMG at 14. I love it. The people, in Cocoa they're chirping a lot. They're still stinging from what they thought was a win at St. Thomas Aquinas last year, as you well know. We won't go into that. No doubt about that. And I just, I have this feeling, and I'm not sure if I had it before the Corner Canyon game or not, but I have this feeling that it's going to be close. I think it's going to be an interesting game. How do you see it?
I'll go one step further, and I think Coco's going to win. So I love Brady Hart at quarterback, a 2026 Michigan commit, Javon Boggs. This dude's been making plays, especially last year as a junior. He broke every single season receiving record at Cocoa, had 93 receptions for just about 1,500 yards and 24 touchdowns. And that game you're talking about against Aquinas, that was the one that really was his breakout game. He had 11 catches for 180 yards and 4 touchdowns against Aquinas. So he's shown me in the past he can play against elite programs like that. So I think him and Hart are going to have a big game against IMG. It's in IMG. It's at Bradenton. So we'll see. It's tough. That's a tough place to win football games at, but we'll see. I think it's going to be a close game, and I think Coco's going to find a way to win. I just love the quarterback wide receiver connection with Brady Hart and Javon Boggs.
Me too, and they know what it's like to go into enemy territory, not to keep beating the St. Thomas Aquinas drum. But folks, if you don't know what we're talking about, go read the stories from last year. You'll figure it out what we're talking about.
The refs weren't really accustomed to what was going on with the clock. There was timeout malfunctions. There was 12 players on the field on special teams. There was a lot of things that had to go wrong for Cocoa to lose, and they found a way to lose. But, hey, they get a chance this year to run the table, maybe go undefeated, finish in the top 5. So
that makes it interesting. Well, since you've already said, Cocoa, you think they're going to win. I wasn't, because I didn't know what you're going to do in advance of the Gorman Mater Dei game, but can I put you on the hook, or do you have that kind of sealed away in a vault until something comes out on Max right now? You got to let me know if you don't want to.
Hey, I'll spill the beans, man. I'm going with Mater Dei. I think it's going to be, I'll go 27-20. I think Mater Dei is going to make enough plays down the stretch. I think there's 2 things it comes down to is a discipline and turnovers. Whatever team cuts down on penalties and doesn't turn the football over is going to leave the Santa Ana Bowl with a dub.
Well, great minds here on this line, at least we're patting each other on the back. I've got Mater Dei 28-21, so we're
Oh wow!
we're,
We're pretty close there.
Yeah, I don't think we're Vegas, but at least we're having some fun with it. That's for sure. Zack Poff on the line. MaxPreps, he does the top 25 for them, and you guys did expand it, as I mentioned earlier, to 100. What was that like for you? I mean, I thought I was nuts. As a matter of fact, Spiewak called me up when I said we were going to do a top 300, and he said, "Have you lost your mind? Are you okay?" So.
Hey, 100's tough, man. I can't even imagine what 300. But even obviously for me, it's, I'm not using a formula. This is all just eye test and doing research, talking to coaches, and figuring it out from there. I mean, it's tough, especially a preseason top 100. It's, there's some teams where it's like, we're not sure. And then luckily as the season goes, everything kind of plays itself out. So it makes it a little easier. But yeah, it's tough, man, expanding from 25 to 100. But at the end of the day, I want more and more schools to get notoriety. So it's, schools are happy when they get a chance to, hey, we're not usually ranked and we're now in the top 100 and working their way up to try and get to that MaxPreps top 25. But yeah, it's just nice, man, at the end of the day to, get more schools named to show up in a national rankings format. I know it's great for the community and I know these schools love it.
Yeah, no doubt about that. We had fun with this last year at the end of the year with Joe Maimone when we did that interview together, and I thought it was a good question. Who surprised you so far? It's too easy to say Blanche Ely, so we take that off of the table for both of us. But do you have a team that has been a real surprise from those days when you're cranking out the preseason stuff?
Yeah, for me, I mean, the other easy answer, I won't use it because I think it's too easy because they just beat Corner Canyon, would be Lone Peak. They also had a win against Timpview, who's one of the better programs in Utah. They beat Bingham too, but Bingham's not what Bingham used to be. But yeah, I think Lone Peak plays Corona Centennial coming up too, so that'll be another big game to watch. But I would go to Douglas County out in Georgia. This is a team that went 13-1 last year, and this year they're off to a 3-0 start. They have a big game coming up Friday against Langston Hughes, so I'll have my eyes on that as I'm at the modern-day Bishop Gorman game Friday night. But, yeah, Douglas County is a team I would go with. We had them just outside the top 25 to begin the year, but you look at this squad, they got some dogs on both sides of the field. I think they're going to be a serious player for that 6A state title in Georgia, which is now the largest classification.
Right. No doubt about that. We had him 105, but I felt if I was doing an opinion poll, I would have had him higher. So I'm not going to give them the surprise. It may be too, cliche to put these two Trinity League teams in there. So I'm just going to throw their names out and to go on to my real team, which I do believe that Jay Sarah and Santa Margarita are surprises, but again, they play in the Trinity League. Is it really a surprise? My team is a Georgia team, said the guy based in the state of Georgia. Collins Hill, we have at 66. They opened by nipping Grayson, so I'm going to go with the Fighting Eagles there as our surprise right now.
Hey, Travis Hunter, alma mater right there, man. Collins Hill, they're back to what they were doing with Travis Hunter and Sam Horn. It's great to see, and they're 3-0. They've had 3 quality wins to start the year, too. So, I tip of the cap to that one. Yeah, I'm all – Jay Sarah, too, that 35-7 win against Sarah Canyon. That was kind of a shocker for me. Yeah. But then at the end of the day, like you said, it is a Trinity League, so how big of a shocker is it really?
Yeah, it's not really at all in my mind. But anyway, Zach, I really appreciate you taking the time here with us to kind of go inside of it. I was thinking, do I end with just saying, who do you think the national champ's going to be here on September the 4th? But I decided not to do that to you or myself.
I'll make it easy. Whoever wins Friday night, so we'll see. We're both going modern day, so that probably means Bishop Gorman's going to win. So
there you go. Well, anyway, I really appreciate you taking the time. It's been a lot of fun. I hope you've enjoyed the time here, and we're going to have a lot of fun watching football again this weekend. So enjoy the time, and good luck as the season cranks on, and we'll try and catch up with you as we get closer to crowning that national champ.
Yeah, Jeff. Hey, thanks again for having me on, man. And yeah, we'll definitely have to chop it up later in the season as we're getting close to crowning a national champ. So it'll be fun. Hey, get your popcorn ready for this week, man. It's going to be a fun slate of games.
We want to thank Zach, for joining us on the podcast tonight. That has been brought to you by NFL Play Football. Hey, coaches, you got to go to playfootball.nfl.com to check out all the cool resources that are there to help you improve in the coaching profession. You won't go wrong. Again, NFL Play Football can be found at playfootball.nfl.com. Also brought to you by the fine folks at First Place Spirit Wear. And, I said it at the top. I'm going to make it a little bit shorter, but the official outfitter of High School Football America is reinventing the way fan gear is being dispersed around America. They are really, really making a dent there with their incredible designs, their hassle-free solution. It's all online. You're not going to have to collect money, manage inventory, have inventory laying around your house. Ordering windows, they're gone. You earn 10% for fundraising on all sales. They're giving you $10 gift codes for discounts on the fan gear that you're buying. It's incredible, and they carry brand names like Adidas and Nike and Champion. I mean, you got to check these folks out, and I said it at the top, and it's a promise I've made since we partnered with them. If you contact me directly, if you want to email me, you can get my email on the website, or you want to direct message me on Twitter or X, I keep calling it Twitter. I'm happy to put you in direct contact with Mike Meadows, the president and CEO. He and his wife Connie are the founders, and they operate it day to day. You're not dealing with some conglomerate that doesn't care who you are, where you play your football, or where you want your stuff shipped to. These people are first class, first place, A+++ customer service people. You won't go wrong by getting with them. FirstPlaceSpiritwear.com, the number one, stplacespiritwear.com. And don't forget to check out GameStrat. See why hundreds upon hundreds of coaches since we became partners back in 2000 have made the switch away from Huddle Sideline. GameStrat is America's premier sideline instant replay system that has outstanding reliability with a connection that stays strong throughout. They have all kinds of great features: seamless video controls, video illustration, play filtering. The setup, it only takes 10 minutes. That's no time at all. And their customer service is above and beyond. They have done it with so many coaches that I've sent their way, and the coaches are like, "Why didn't we do this sooner, Jeff?" And I'm like, "Yeah, why didn't you do it sooner?" But anyway, if you haven't made the switch, make sure you give them a call. Mention High School Football America. You'll get a friends and family discount. Now, to get that demo, go to GameStrat.com or click on the GameStrat banner ad located on every page of HighSchoolFootballAmerica.com. Well, that's going to do it for tonight. Before we get into the big weekend ahead of us here coming up on Thursday, make sure you follow us on all the social media ways you can follow us. Our handle on X is HSFB America. You can also get us on Facebook and Twitter. Handle there, High School Football America in both cases. Check out our YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/the @ High School Football America. We're on LinkedIn too. This is a business website, but we have a lot of people that follow us on there and enjoy getting the content that way. However you need your content, we have it for you. Remember this about High School Football America: free content all day long, all day, every day. Yeah, we don't ask you for a sign up or subscriptions, or we don't put up a paywall. We are here for the high school football fans. You cannot go wrong with making High School Football America at least one stop during your day. But we find out once people have learned about what we do, whether it's our free scoreboards that everybody can see, follow the games as they're going on each Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday afternoon, Saturday night. ScoreStream has been our partners for 10 years, and we have all this stuff that's just there for you at your fingertips. It's user-friendly, and it loads very quickly. I just did a little study today. I think we load in less than half a second. I love that because, speed is of everything when you're looking to get your high school football score. So that's going to do it for today. You've been listening to the High School Football America podcast, and I'm Jeff Fisher.